Have you ever noticed how silence changes everything? Not just quiet, but that kind of silence that stings when you stop showing up. When your name doesn't light up her phone anymore, something shifts inside her. Because the truth is, when you disappear, you don't vanish, you echo. And that echo, it starts haunting her in ways she never expected. What she once took for granted now keeps her up at night. What she thought she controlled suddenly controls her. See, your silence. It's not emptiness. It's energy. It's power. And today, I'll show you exactly what she feels when you simply disappear. Not as punishment, not as a game, but as a reflection of your worth. Stay till the end, because once you understand how this works, you'll never chase validation again. Let's begin. 1. Confusion. Wait, what just happened? When you suddenly disappear, it doesn't just leave a space in her day. It creates noise in her mind, confusion, a quiet panic that grows with every unanswered question. She's not angry at first. She's curious because in her world, communication is connection. Women build emotional threads through conversations, glances, and daily check-ins. So when you stop calling, texting, or showing up, she feels like a thread has been cut mid-sentence. She starts wondering if she missed something. Was there a moment, a signal? Did you seem distant? Did she say something wrong? That confusion becomes emotional static, replaying scenes in her head like she's trying to solve a mystery that doesn't exist. And the more she thinks, the deeper she spirals because the human mind hates unfinished stories. And you just left her with one. That's the thing most men don't realize. Silence isn't empty. It's full of her thoughts. It fills her with questions she can't answer. It forces her to look inward. And when she can't find a clear reason, she turns that spotlight onto herself. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe he's bored of me. Maybe I should have tried harder. What's crazy is you didn't say a word. Yet your absence is shaping her self-perception more than your presence ever did. That's the power of confusion. It rewires how she sees you and how she sees herself. You become the unknown, and people are always drawn to the unknown, especially women. They're emotional detectives, and your silence is the case they can't close. And here's where psychology kicks in. The more unpredictable someone is, the more the brain assigns importance to them. Her subconscious mind starts believing you matter more because her mind is spending energy trying to understand you. That's why she checks her phone more than usual. That's why your last message suddenly feels like a clue. You've taken her out of control, and that's something her emotions don't like. See, women crave emotional certainty. They want to know, but your disappearance shakes that stability. And instead of letting go, she holds on tighter mentally and emotionally. That confusion becomes curiosity, and curiosity always turns into emotional attachment. Your silence didn't make her forget you. It made her obsessed with finding meaning. You went quiet, but in her head, you're louder than ever. 2. Regret. Did I push him away? Once confusion settles in, something heavier takes its place. Regret. It's the emotional hangover that follows when she starts believing she caused your silence. You see, regret doesn't come from loss itself. It comes from realizing you might have been the reason for it. She replays old texts, screenshots, memories, that sarcastic comment she made that one day she ignored your call because she wanted to seem busy. It all starts to sting now because when you disappear, she finally notices the things she said and did that didn't sit right. And the worst part, she can't fix any of it. Women don't handle emotional guilt lightly. It eats at them quietly. So even if she's pretending to be fine, scrolling through your socials just to see if you've moved on, she's not at peace. There's a voice inside whispering, maybe it's my fault. And that voice keeps her awake. Regret makes her remember the good moments differently too. The small things she overlooked before, your patience, your attention, your consistency, suddenly seem rare. Now she compares every guy who tries to talk to her to you. None of them measure up because they're not mysterious, they're not silent, they're not you. It's funny how distance changes perspective. When you were around, she had options, she had control, but once you disappeared, she lost that feeling. And that's when the regret turns emotional. It becomes a craving, not for your messages, but for how she felt when she had your attention. Regret turns into longing for that version of herself who was wanted by you. This is why your Silence hurts more than your words ever could. Words can be argued. Silence can't. It's absolute. It's final. It forces her to face herself. And if she has a strong ego, that's when the internal war starts. Part of her says, he left because I pushed him. Another part says, no, I didn't care anyway. That emotional split is torment, and that's what keeps you living rentre in her head. So, while she may act confident online, posting pictures or quotes that scream, I'm fine, deep inside, she's questioning her every move. That's the silent punishment of regret. It makes her realize what she lost long before she admits it. Regret isn't loud, it's quiet. It shows up when she's alone, when she scrolls past your name, when she wishes she could start over. Just one last conversation, one last chance. But that chance doesn't come, and that's what makes your disappearance unforgettable. Third, obsession. What is he doing now? Once regret creeps in, it plants a seed that quickly grows into obsession. It doesn't happen all at once. It starts subtly, a passing thought about you during her lunch break, checking if you've viewed her story or wondering what your silence really means. But that small thought doesn't fade. It multiplies, because the more she tries not to think about you, the louder your absence becomes. See, attention fades with time, but silence lingers. It's like a song stuck in her head that never finishes. She scrolls through her phone pretending to look for something else, but really she's searching for traces of you. Your last message, that inside joke, the photo she almost deleted but couldn't. It's not nostalgia. It's her mind trying to find emotional closure. But you took that away when you vanished. So her brain starts looping endlessly. The psychology here is simple but powerful. The human brain hates open loops. When something ends without explanation, it seeks resolution. Every time she remembers you, her brain releases a little bit of dopamine mixed with anxiety, the same chemical that fuels addiction. She becomes emotionally addicted to the idea of you, not who you were, but what you represented, a puzzle she couldn't solve. And that's what obsession really is. It's not love, it's not hate, it's unfinished emotion. It's her mind desperately trying to make sense of silence that doesn't make sense. That's why she checks your page even when she swears she's moved on. That's why her friends catch her scrolling back to your pictures. She's not looking for you. She's looking for proof that she mattered. The more mysterious you become, the more her imagination fills in the blanks. Maybe you're with someone new. Maybe you stopped caring. Maybe you never felt the same. Every version she creates keeps her emotionally hooked because each story leaves her more unsettled. That's the irony of obsession. The thing she's trying to control ends up controlling her. This is where your silence turns from confusion into influence. You're not chasing, you're not explaining, yet you dominate her thoughts. She feels your absence in the middle of her day, in songs, in moments she can't escape. You've gone quiet, but you've become unforgettable. And if you stay silent long enough, obsession slowly turns into something heavier, something that hurts. 4. Emotional pain. I thought he cared. At first, she tries to hide it, pretends she's fine, laughs louder with her friends, posts happier pictures. But late at night, when the noise dies down, that's when it hits. The emotional pain, that dull ache in her chest that she can't explain. It's not just sadness, it's loss mixed with confusion, a deep discomfort that eats away at her ego and pride. You see, when you disappear, you're not just gone. You're missing from places that used to feel familiar. That morning message, that reassurance, that silent comfort of knowing you were there. And now that safety is gone and replaced by silence, it's emotional withdrawal. And for a woman who's emotionally invested, that pain hits hard. She'll act tough at first, of course, say things like, he's not worth it, or I'm better off. But psychology says when someone feels emotionally rejected, the pain centers in the brain light up in the same way physical pain does. It literally hurts. That's why she feels restless, why her stomach drops when she sees your name, why she feels angry one moment and empty the next. And here's the cruel truth. She doesn't miss you entirely. She misses the version of herself that existed when you cared, the validation, the warmth, the sense of being desired. When that vanishes, she feels like she lost lost part of her identity. And that emotional pain forces her to reflect not on what you did, but on who she's become in your absence. Pain also strips away the masks. The confident, self-assured version of her fades. What's left is vulnerability. And that's when she starts to wonder, what if I pushed away someone who actually cared? That thought is sharp. It cuts deep because now every memory of you carries guilt, and every quiet moment feels like punishment. This emotional discomfort doesn't fade easily. It lingers. It softens her tone, changes her perspective. Pain humbles her, and in many ways, that pain becomes the bridge to her next emotional stage as vulnerability. The moment where the walls come down, even if she tries to act like they haven't. 5. Vulnerability. Maybe I made a mistake. This is when her pride starts losing the fight. After days, maybe weeks of silence, the tension becomes unbearable. That's when she sends a small, subtle message, nothing too obvious, a meme. This reminded me of you, or a casual, hey. It looks harmless, but emotionally it's loaded. It's her way of saying, well, are you still there? That's the thing about vulnerability. It never announces itself. It hides behind humor, behind old memories, behind I was just checking in. But what she's really doing is testing the emotional temperature. She wants to know if she still has a place in your mind. Your silence made her feel powerless. It forced her into emotional stillness, something she rarely experiences. Because deep down, women aren't afraid of losing men. They're afraid of losing control of how they're perceived. And your disappearance stripped that from her. So when she reaches out, it's not out of love, it's out of fear of invisibility. But here's where the paradox lies. Vulnerability is also healing. It's the part where her ego cracks open and she reconnects with her emotions. She starts to see how her own behavior contributed to the silence, how maybe, just maybe, she took your consistency for granted. That realization softens her. It makes her human again. Still, vulnerability comes with risk because once she shows it, she feels exposed, and that triggers the next emotional defense, the rebuilding of her ego. When she feels too raw, too uncovered, she puts the mask back on, and that mask says, I don't need him. But that's the lie she tells herself, a necessary lie to protect her heart. 6. Ego defense. I don't need him anyway. Right after vulnerability comes resistance. She starts pretending again, harder this time. You'll see it in her captions, her stories, her sudden glow-up posts. I'm thriving, new beginnings, it's not healing, it's performance. She's convincing herself she's unbothered because the truth feels too heavy. This is the ego's natural defense. When reality stings, the mind creates distance from pain. By denying it, she tells herself you never mattered that much. She blames you, rewrites the story in her head so she can feel powerful again. But it's temporary. Ego can't heal what it hides. Because at night when she takes off the makeup and the mask, she knows the truth. Your silence got to her. She can act strong online, but emotions don't lie. She still checks your name, still flinches when she hears your favorite song. She still wonders if you think about her. That's not indifference, that's internal conflict. Here's what's ironic. The more she tries to show she doesn't care, the more she proves she does. Every action screams overcompensation, and deep inside, she knows it, but she won't admit it. Not yet, because admitting it means surrendering power. An ego is allergic to surrender. That's why this stage is the loudest and the loneliest. She's screaming confidence, but her heart is whispering confusion. She's trying to rewrite the story, but your silence keeps rewriting it for her. And when the mask starts to slip, fear takes over. The fear of replacement. 7. Fear of replacement. Has he moved on already? This one hits differently. It's not about missing you. It's about losing the spot she thought was hers. She starts wondering if there's someone else, another woman, another smile, another energy that's replaced hers. That thought burns deeper than heartbreak because it attacks her ego and her heart at once. When a woman believes she's being replaced, her instincts switch to survival mode. That's when she resurfaces. And the random, hey, The sudden reaction to your story, the unexpected compliment. It's not coincidence, it's fear. Because disappearing creates a vacuum, and when she senses someone else might fill that space, it triggers panic. She'll scroll through your page searching for signs, a new girl's comment, a new photo. Even the slightest change in your behavior will drive her thoughts wild. She's not just curious now, she's competing, but not with the new person, with her own insecurities. Psychologically, this fear of replacement comes from loss of validation. She used to be the one who knew your schedule, your moods, your little habits. Now she knows nothing. That emotional access was power and you took it away. So she tries to get it back any way she can by being seen again, by making you notice her, by pretending she's happy without you, just enough to make you look twice. But every action she takes is rooted in fear, not confidence. This stage can last weeks or months. It's emotional chaos dressed up as control, and when all the pretending wears off, what's left is pure longing. The final stage, 8, longing. I miss him. I want him back. By now, everything else has burned away. The confusion, the regret, the ego, the games. What remains is longing, raw, unfiltered desire for what's gone. This isn't the kind of longing that fades with time. It's the kind that stays buried in quiet moments. When she's driving home alone, when a song hits too close, when she passes a place that still smells like you. It's a haunting, not just an emotion. She misses your presence, not because she's lonely, but because you became a mirror. In your silence, she saw her reflection, the things she didn't handle right, the affection she didn't appreciate, the energy she took for granted. Now she understands what you were giving when she wasn't looking. Longing is powerful because it humbles her. It strips away everything fake and leaves only truth. And that truth is simple. Your silence made her feel your value in a way your words never could. She realizes that what she thought was distance was actually dignity. You didn't disappear to punish her. You withdrew to protect your peace. And that kind of power is unforgettable. If she ever reaches out again, it won't be from pride. It'll be from pain mixed with respect, because disappearing didn't make you weak. It made you mysterious. It made you matter. That's the paradox of silence. When used with intention, it speaks the loudest. It tells her everything she didn't want to hear, that she wasn't as in control as she thought, and that your absence hurts more than your presence ever did. So, if you've gone silent, understand this. She feels it, every second of it, and maybe one day she'll admit it. But by then, you'll already know your worth doesn't come from who chases you, but from who feels your silence after you're gone. So the next time you pull back, don't see it as losing connection. See it as gaining clarity. Your silence speaks when words can't. And the man who learns to be still is the one she never forgets. If this video helped you see relationships differently, hit that subscribe button, because here on Brainify On, we talk about the deeper layers where psychology meets self-worth. Stay grounded, stay quiet, stay powerful. Until next time.